Estate guru. We're borrowing her because, well, real estate is such an issue these days. 740 here on the Big 550 KTRS. Good morning, Kathy Helbig from the Kathy Helbig Group.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Morning, Kathy.
So many people are buying homes today, and they can't buy a home till they sell their home, and that's called a contingency. How much does that hurt when you're trying to buy a house and you have a contingency on it?
Well, it depends on how long the house has been on the market and what the particular needs are of that seller. A lot of people are resistant when you just put your house on the market to accept a home sale contingent contract. So, that's going to all play into whether they'll even play ball with you or not. A house has been sitting there on the market for maybe 4, 5, 6 months. They might be more apt to do it. But really, to present a strong home sale contingent contract, you really need to do your homework and provide the information with your offer so that you're not just shut down immediately. And what a lot of people... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
What a lot of people don't understand, too, as a seller about contingent contracts is the seller has the right at any point in time to change their mind. So the buyer is typically asking for a 60 or 90-day period to be contingent, trying to sell their house, and they're locked in for that 60, 90 days trying to sell their house and on those terms of the contract. But a seller has a built-in clause called a kick-out. So I often get people that get online and go, what does a contingent no kick-out or a contingent kick-out mean? That kick-out is the phrase that protects the seller. So it's basically like a first right of refusal to the buyer. If anybody else comes in and makes an offer, or the seller changes their mind, they're tired of waiting for them, they can give them that notification of 24 or 48 hours, whatever their kick-out clause was negotiated, and then that buyer has to make a decision in that time frame to either remove that home sale contingent, that part of the contract, or they lose the offer. It goes
I never knew that. So the seller can get out because of that contingent if they get a better offer.
And people think that's what it is. Honestly, they can get out for any reason whatsoever. You can go, I don't like that they have red hair anymore. I'm going to get out of that contract.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a better offer. So it's not always a terrible thing to consider a contingent contract if you know what you're getting into. So you have your real estate agent do the homework. We do the comps on the house that it's going to be contingent on. We find out where is it going to be priced at. Are they going to stage? Are they going to use professional photography? All of that type of thing plays in. If it's a neighborhood that typically sells in 2 weeks, then that might be a gamble worth taking because typically you get a higher offer on a contingent contract because you're taking the buyer's risk on that whole time.
Wow. So, interesting. Yeah. I didn't know any of that.
It's really in the seller's corner then.
It can be. So the buyer gets the first right of refusal. Now, if the buyer says, hey, wait a minute, you could get a $10,000 higher offer, and the buyer says, I'm going to go get a bridge loan, and I'm going to take off my contingency in that 48-hour time,
right,
then the buyer gets it.
Right.
You can't kick them off. So that's the only caveat. And then you have to remember as a seller, it is contingent all the way up until the day of closing. So if something would fall apart, that buyer's protected, you took the buyer's risk on. That's why you typically want to negotiate a higher contract when you're assuming the risk for the buyer.
That's why
Yeah, big news this week, too. Rates dropped dramatically yesterday. So if anybody is on the fence of buying or is looking to refi, you should use one of our partners. First of all, we have Steve at Gershman Mortgage and Adrian at Clisholti at Cornerstone. So you can text Gershman or Adrian to 60637 and get a really good no-cost refi by mentioning the Kathy Helbig Group.
Kathy Helbig, 17 years, full-time producer, St. Louis County, St. Charles County as well. The website and the app. Don't forget the app, KathyHelbigGroup.com, and the app, Kathy Helbig, at the App Store. Kathy, be safe. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
7:43 here, Big 550.